114 stab wounds, 49 defensive wounds, 35 wounds to the head and neck, 29 to the back and shoulder, and 6 fatal wounds. Having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I sentence you to life in prison.
These are the most dangerous kids this nation has ever locked up. Boys and girls whose crimes were so savage, they swapped swing sets for steel bars. 7 kids, 7 stories, all under 18 when they stepped into the abyss. Meet Lionel Tate. He was just 12 years old when he did something so shocking, it turned him into a symbol of tragedy, of debate, of a system stretched to its limits. July 28, 1999, Broward County, Florida. Lionel Tate was a big kid, 12 years old, 5'5", 170 pounds, built like a linebacker. That day he was at home with his mom, Kathleen Grossett Tate, a state trooper who'd taken in 6-year-old Tiffany Unick to babysit while her mom, Deweese, worked. Tiffany was tiny, 45 pounds, a wisp of a girl with a bright smile. Around 5 p.m., Kathleen stepped out to run an errand, leaving Lionel and Tiffany alone. Lionel said they were playing, roughhousing like kids do. He claimed he was mimicking wrestling moves he'd seen on TV, WWE stuff, body slams, pile drivers, but when Kathleen got back around 6:30, she found Tiffany sprawled on the living room floor, limp, not breathing. Lionel was there, saying she'd fallen, that it was an accident. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. Tiffany was gone. The autopsy painted a brutal picture: a fractured skull, a lacerated liver, broken ribs, brain hemorrhaging, over 30 injuries, some so severe they'd taken adult strength to inflict. This wasn't a tumble off the couch. This was a beating, and Lionel, at 12, was the only one in the room. The cops didn't buy the accident story for a second. Lionel was questioned that night, a 12-year-old sitting across from detectives, his mom by his side. He stuck to his line, "We were wrestling. I didn't mean to hurt her." But the evidence piled up. Forensic experts matched the injuries to repeated, forceful blows, not a single fall or a playful shove. The liver tear alone suggested a massive impact. Lionel's size and strength became the focus. He outweighed Tiffany nearly 4-1. By August, the state charged him with first-degree murder. On January 25, 2001, they found him guilty, first-degree murder. At 14, Lionel became one of America's youngest lifers. No parole, no out. In 2004, an appeals court tossed the life sentence. They ruled his mental capacity wasn't properly considered. Lionel got a second chance, released on probation at 17. Freedom lasted a year. In May 2005, he robbed a pizza delivery guy at gunpoint, violated probation, and bam, back in jail. This time with a 30-year sentence stacked on top of 10 more for the robbery. Next up, this is Joshua Phillips. November 3rd, 1998, Jacksonville, Florida. Joshua Phillips was 14, a lanky kid with a mop of dark hair, living with his mom, Melissa, and stepdad, Steve. Across the street lived 8-year-old Maddie Clifton, blonde, bubbly, the kind of kid who'd wave at everyone. That afternoon, Maddie was playing outside when she vanished. Joshua later said she'd come over, knocking on his door to hang out. He let her in, his parents weren't home, and they started tossing a baseball in his room. Then he claimed it went wrong. He threw a pitch too hard, hit her in the eye. She screamed, cried, wouldn't stop. Panicking, Joshua grabbed a bat, hit her in the head to quiet her. Once, twice, 3 times. She was still alive, moaning, so he dragged her to his bed, stabbed her 11 times with a pocket knife, chest, throat, stomach. To hide it, he pried open his waterbed frame, stuffed Maddie's 50-pound body inside, taped it shut, and cleaned up. When his mom got home, he acted like nothing happened. For 7 days, he kept that secret while the neighborhood searched for her. Joshua joined them, handing out flyers, his face blank, when Melissa Phillips smelled something foul in Joshua's room. She'd noticed a water leak under his bed days earlier, thought it was a busted mattress. That morning, she checked again, pried open the frame, and screamed. Maddie's body spilled out, bloated, beaten, stabbed, her pants pulled down, suggesting a sexual angle. Joshua wasn't home, off at school, but cops swarmed the house. Evidence was everywhere. Blood on the carpet, a bat with Maddie's hair, a knife in his drawer, duct tape with her DNA. When Joshua got home, they cuffed him. At the station, he broke fast. "It was an accident. I hit her. She wouldn't stop crying. I freaked out." No premeditation, he said, just panic. But the brutality, 11 stab wounds, didn't match a scared kid's story. Florida charged him as an adult, first-degree murder. The trial hit in July 1999. The jury deliberated 6 hours. Guilty, first-degree murder. On August 13, 1999, Judge Charles Arnold sentenced him to life without parole. In 2012, the Supreme Court ruled mandatory life without parole for juveniles unconstitutional. November 17, 2021, after 23 years inside, a judge granted him release at 37. He walked out, a free man under supervision. From lifer to liberated, talk about a turn. We're moving on to our third kid. Meet Eric Smith, a 13-year-old from upstate New York. August 2nd, 1993, Savona, New York. A sleepy village of 800 people, the kind of place where kids roam free in summer. Eric Smith was 13, small for his age, 4 feet 11, 105 pounds, with bright red hair, thick glasses, and ears that stuck out. That morning, 4-year-old Derek Roby, blonde, blue-eyed, all of 40 pounds, was walking alone to a summer rec program just a block from his house. His mom, Doreen, had let him go solo for the first time. 5 minutes, tops. Eric, riding his bike nearby, spotted him. Eric lured Derek into a wooded lot off the road, promising something. Alone among the trees, Eric snapped. He picked up a 26-pound rock and smashed it into Derek's head. Once, twice, until his skull caved. Derek fell, still alive, so Eric strangled him with his hands, squeezing until he stopped moving. Then the worst part, he stripped Derek's shorts, poured Kool-Aid from the boy's lunch into his wounds, and jammed sticks into his body. Post-mortem mutilation that turned a killing into a desecration. Eric wiped his hands, hopped on his bike, and rode off. Derek's tiny body lay there, hidden by brush, until a search party found him hours later. Derek's disappearance hit Savona like a bomb. By noon, Doreen called the cops. Her boy hadn't made it to camp. State troopers and volunteers scoured the village. A farmer found Derek's body that afternoon. 4 days later, on August 6th, he showed up at the Robbie's house with his mom, Tammy, offering condolences. Too calm, too curious. He asked Doreen about Derek's funeral, lingered on details. Cops noticed. They brought him in, a 13-year-old in a polo shirt sitting across from detectives. At first, he played dumb. "I was biking, didn't see anything." But under pressure, he cracked. "I did it," he said, voice flat. By August 8th, he was charged with second-degree murder. New York tried him as a juvenile, but the brutality made it national news. The red-headed killer, they called him. The trial started January 1994, and it was a battle. The prosecution went all in. This wasn't a kid's tantrum. It was sadistic, deliberate. He enjoyed it, they said, pointing to his flat affect, a sign of deeper issues. Psychiatrists testified he had intermittent explosive disorder, rage he couldn't control. His mom revealed she'd taken epilepsy meds during pregnancy, hinting at brain damage. They begged for leniency. On August 16, 1994, Eric was convicted, second-degree murder, sentenced to 9 years to life, the max for a juvenile in New York. The twist? Parole hearings, 10 of them, every 2 years from 2001. Each time he'd apologize, claim reform. Each time Derek's parents, Doreen and Dale, fought to keep him in, calling him a predator. Finally, in October 2021, after 27 years, the 11th hearing worked. Parole granted. At 41, Eric walked free, January 2022. Next up is a story that'll make you question everything. Meet Jordan Brown. He was just 11 years old when he landed in the crosshairs of a murder case, February 20th, 2009, Wampum, Pennsylvania. Jordan Brown was 11, a wiry kid with a quiet streak, living with his dad, Chris Brown, in a farmhouse on Mohawk School Road. Chris's fiancée, Kenzie Hauk, 26, was 8 months pregnant with their son, Jordan's soon-to-be half-brother. Kenzie's two daughters from a prior relationship, 7-year-old Janessa and 4-year-old Adeline, shared the home too. That Friday morning started normal. Chris left for work at 6:30 a.m. Kenzie was still in bed, the kids getting ready for school. Around 8 a.m., a single, deafening boom echoed through the house. Kenzie was found dead in her bed, a 20-gauge shotgun blast through the back of her head. Killed instantly, her unborn son gone with her. The gun? A youth model Jordan got for Christmas, kept in his room for hunting. Janessa heard the shot, saw Jordan grab his books, and head out with her to the bus stop like nothing happened. Adeline, still inside, toddled to Kenzie's mom later that day saying, "Mommy's dead." Kenzie's death shattered wampum. Her mom, Debbie Haug, called 911 after Adeline's chilling words. Janessa told cops she'd heard a loud noise, saw Jordan with his gun case that morning. "He always took it hunting," she said, but it wasn't hunting season. The 20 gauge was found in Jordan's room, recently fired, his fingerprints on it. Gunpowder residue dusted his hands. Faint, but there. Cops questioned him that day, an 11-year-old in a hoodie facing Pennsylvania State Police. "I didn't do it," he said, voice steady. Claimed he'd last shot the gun days ago, target practice with Dad. By February 21st, Jordan was charged with 2 counts of murder. Kenzie and her unborn son, a fetus, legally a victim under state law. Pennsylvania pushed to try him as an adult. First-degree murder, life without parole on the table. At 11, he was locked in a juvenile detention center, the youngest murder suspect in state history. Then the twists, appeals dragged on, public outcry grew. He's just a kid. In 2012, the Supreme Court banned mandatory life without parole for juveniles. April 13, 2018, Judge John Hodge reversed the adult trial, ruled him delinquent in juvenile court. Not guilty of murder, no adult prison, just detention until 21. Released June 2018 at 20, Jordan walked free, case closed. Next up is a story that's equal parts heartbreaking and horrifying. Meet Christian Fernandez. He was 12 years old when he committed a crime that stunned Jacksonville, Florida. March 14, 2011, Christian Fernandez was 12, living in a cramped apartment with his mom, Bianala Susana, and his younger half-siblings. Bianala, just 25, had Christian at 12 herself, raped by a 25-year-old, a cycle of trauma baked in early. That afternoon, she left Christian home alone with her 2 youngest, 5-year-old Aiden and 2-year-old David Galarraga, while she ran to a pawn shop. Around 2 p.m., something snapped. Christian, alone with David, grabbed the toddler and slammed his head into a wooden bookshelf, not once but twice, with force that echoed through the thin walls. David crumpled, unconscious, skull fractured in 2 places. Christian didn't call for help. He dragged David to a couch, left him there and waited. Bianella got home at 4 p.m., found David unresponsive, and rushed him to the hospital. Doctors fought for 2 days, brain swelling, hemorrhaging. But on March the 16th, David died, a 2-year-old snuffed out by his big brother. Christian's excuse? He was crying. I wanted him to stop. Jacksonville police arrived at Baptist Medical Center that night. Doctors flagged it immediately. 2 skull fractures, blunt trauma. No fall could do that. Cops searched the apartment, blood on the bookshelf, scuff marks where David hit. The autopsy sealed it. Death by blunt force. By March 17th, Christian was charged with first-degree murder. Florida didn't hesitate. By 2012, Florida's plan was clear. Life without parole, no mercy. Then the twist. The Supreme Court's 2012 ruling banned mandatory juvenile life sentences. February 7th, 2018, a plea deal landed. Second-degree manslaughter, juvenile detention until 19, no adult prison. Released January 2018, his 19th birthday, he walked free. Next up is a story that'll send shivers down your spine. Meet Alyssa Bustamante. She was 15 years old when she committed a crime so cold, it redefined what we think a teenager can do. October 21st, 2009, St. Martin's, Missouri. Alyssa Bustamante was 15, a pale, dark-haired teen with a troubled edge, living with her grandparents after a chaotic upbringing. That day, she targeted 9-year-old Elizabeth Olton, blonde, trusting, a neighbor who lived a few houses down. Alyssa had prepped. Days earlier, she dug 2 shallow graves in the woods behind her house, testing her plan. Around 5 p.m., she lured Elizabeth out, saying, "Let's play." They walked into the trees, just the two of them. Then Alyssa struck. She strangled Elizabeth with her hands, squeezing until she went limp. Not done, she pulled a knife, slashed her throat, stabbed her chest 7 times, deep and deliberate. Alyssa dragged her to one of the graves, dumped her in, and covered her with dirt and leaves. She walked home, washed up, and went to bed. Her diary entry that night: "I just fucking killed someone. I strangled them and slit their throat and stabbed them. It was amazing. As soon as you get over the 'oh my God, I can't do this' feeling, it's pretty enjoyable." Elizabeth's disappearance sparked panic. Her mom, Patty Price, called 911 that night. She'd last seen her at 6 p.m., heading to play. By October 22nd, cops and volunteers combed St. Martin's. Woods, fields, no sign. Alyssa joined the search, calm and detached. October 23rd, a tip came. Kids saw Alyssa with Elizabeth that evening. Police knocked on her door. She shrugged. "Yeah, we hung out. She went home." But her story wobbled. Times didn't match. Cops got a warrant, searched her room, and hit gold: her diary, pages dripping with intent. "I want to kill," she'd written days before. Then the confession: strangling, slashing, the thrill. They found the graves, one empty, one with Elizabeth's body, dirt still fresh. Knife marks matched a blade in Alyssa's drawer, blood traces on it. At the station, she folded fast. "I did it. I wanted to know what it felt like." No tears, just a smirk. By October 25th, she was charged with first-degree murder. The trial kicked off in January 2012. Alyssa was 17, February 8th, 2012. Guilty, first-degree murder. Sentenced to life with parole possibility, Missouri's max then. We've reached our last kid. Meet Nathaniel Brazil. It was the last day at Lake Worth Community Middle School, kids counting down to summer. Nathaniel Brazil was 13, a lanky B student with a quick smile. No major red flags, just a kid who'd thrown water balloons that week, earning a 2-day suspension. He'd spent it at home, stewing until that Friday morning. Around 8 a.m., he grabbed a .25 caliber handgun, stolen from his grandpa's cookie tin stash, loaded it, and biked back to school. He wasn't expelled, just mad. Wanted to see friends, maybe show off. At 10:40 a.m., he walked into the hall, gun tucked in his pants. Barry Grunow, 35, a popular English teacher, dad to a 5-year-old husband, all charm, stood at his classroom door, chatting with students. Nathaniel approached, asked to talk to 2 girls inside. Barry said no. "You're not supposed to be here." Nathaniel pulled the gun, aimed, and fired. One shot, point blank, right between Barry's eyes. Blood sprayed. Barry dropped, dead before he hit the floor. Kids screamed, scattered. Nathaniel ran. Security cameras caught it all. Nathaniel didn't get far. Police nabbed him 20 minutes later, a mile from school. At the station, he was a 13-year-old in cuffs, facing detectives. "It was an accident," he said. Claimed he'd cocked the gun to scare Barry. Didn't mean to fire. But the tape told a different story. Steady aim, no flinch, one pull. By May 27th, Florida charged him with first-degree murder. Adult court, no hesitation. The trial kicked off April 2001. Nathaniel was 14, dwarfed by the courtroom, hours of debate, then guilty, first-degree murder. May 16th, 2001. Judge Richard Wennett sentenced him 28 years, no parole till 2028, adult prison at 21. Not life, but close. And there you have it. 7 kids, 7 crimes, 7 lives that collided with America's prison system in ways that still echo today. What do you think? Are these kids worth saving or too far gone? Drop your take in the comments. Thanks for sticking with me through this. If it hit you, smash that like button. It helps more people find these stories. Share it with your true crime crew. Let's get this convo going. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button and ring the bell